Good afternoon class, welcome to your daily current affairs on the paper Hindu. So we'll see what are the important articles today. Yes. Skipping on the local news and political news, let's go for the main news. So I can find that there are a lot of political news today. Let's see. So, local news. Editorials. Fine. EPFO seeks centers not to extend time till May 4th for claiming higher PF pensions. So, I have already mentioned about EPFO that is an organization which will give you pensions. So, here recently they have given an option that higher pensions can be opted where 8.6% of their basic income can be given in the cutoff, and then at the end they can claim that. And currently EPFO has stated that we need a prolongation of date till May 4th so that we can settle all these issues. So, for claiming all these higher PF pensions we need time till May 4th. Actually, so this will be applicable for people who have got retired after September 1st, 2014. So yeah, it has asked time, Supreme Court has asked time that yes, currently we need time till May 4th so that we can claim EPFO, or we can give people this particular EPFO, pensioners, okay, pensioner scheme. The Labour Ministry, so it is the ministry, nodal ministry which is responsible for EPFO. So the EPFO, the Labour Ministry however had not taken any decision on this matter. EPFO is yet to streamline the process of online submissions, alleges National Confederation of Retirees in a letter. So National Confederation of Retirees is a organization or a particular group of people who are retired, and therefore they have formed that particular organization. So they have claimed that EPFO hasn't taken anything, so it has not streamlined about this. So it is yet to streamline the process of online submissions. That is what mentioned by who? By National Confederation of Retirees in a particular letter. So currently people who are eligible is people who have been retired from September 1st from 2014, from the year 2014. So they can give options from EPFO to claim higher pension on the actual salary ends on March 3rd. So by March 3rd they should have been finalized, but they have asked that we need an extent till May 4th. Okay. So that is about this article. Let's go to another one. Manual scavenging. So this article again is important for your governance, and manual scavenging to governance and also social justice. Society, social justice and your governance. So GS2 and GS1 related. SC asked government what it had done to end the manual scavenging. So currently with the Act of Manual Scavengers and Construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act 1993 and the Provision of Employment as Manual Scavengers and their Rehabilitation Act 2003. So with these acts the government has prohibited manual scavenging, but yet this manual scavengers which is called your Safai Karmacharis, so this is still existing. So currently the problem here is not banning of manual scavengers is fine, but what about the employment generation for them? That is a point of question. So currently the Supreme Court has directed that the government to place on record within 6 weeks the steps taken by it to implement nearly 10-year-old judgment. So what is it had actually taken? Whom it is asking? Judiciary is asking the Parliament to place what it had actually done regarding the judgment to end manual scavenging to prevent future generations from the inhuman practices. So to prevent inhuman practices, what steps has been taken by Parliament? That is what he has. Supreme Court has questioned. So bench led by all these things, again not important, but yeah, that thing has been involved, or to ban or to remove completely this particular manual scavenging has been mentioned in this particular acts of Parliament. Okay. So yeah, that is about your SC asks about manual scavenging, what steps has been taken by centre. SC intrigued. So again Supreme Court has intrigued by the lack of protection officers for domestic violence cases. So domestic violence cases, definitely there used to be certain officers who are of in charge. So whenever some person has coming to this particular office and I have asked about this grievance redressal mechanism for domestic violence, there should be certain officers who should be addressing it, and currently it is lack of staff. So, it is running out of staff. So, Supreme Court has asked or has sought for more information on, and the mission regarding this domestic violence protection, or to deal with this domestic violence protection, the mission introduces Mission Shakti, which is an umbrella scheme for the safety, security, empowerment of women intrigued by a possible chronic shortage of protection officers to deal with domestic violence cases. So, to deal with the domestic violence cases, currently the Mission Shakti is the one which has been started. So, with this, what is the current mechanism? What are the actual officers and what is the current cases that is being currently handled by the particular officers under Mission Shakti? All these things have been asked by who? By Supreme Court. Okay. So, yeah, Supreme Court document in the top court sought 4.4 lakh of domestic assault are pending under a sample of 801 districts. So, currently in 801 districts, 4.4 lakh cases are being pending, only domestic violence cases. Then see what is the level of efficiency of this particular body. Okay, fine. So, yeah, so about this, and this particular Mission Shakti was under the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. So, appointment of these officers will come under this particular act, which is Protection of Women and Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. Okay, fine. So, currently Supreme Court has asked that what is the current status, what is the distress level, give us all the data, so that we can understand what is it about. Okay, fine. So, yeah, India and UK to come into a particular agreement or to agree to make a progress on trade pact. So, currently discussions on these trade pacts has been in progress so far. So, currently they are trying to take one step. So, they are trying to come with particular solution. So, here currently they are working on FTA. So, the negotiations are on FTA. So, what is this FTA? Free trade agreement. So, it is like reduction of tax barriers. Okay. So, reduction of tax barriers like central excise taxes or whatever the taxes for import and export charges. So, these taxes will be reduced to zero or reduced to a certain extent, which is your free trade agreement. So, currently India and UK have further agreed to make progress on the ongoing negotiations of free trade agreement to swiftly organize a bilateral economic and financial dialogue with the British government. So, recently 7th round talks has happened and currently they are ready to prolong it for the future ahead of G20 meeting. So, currently UK Chancellor has visited our country ahead of this G20 meeting and they are in a positive opinion to have trade pact with India, and which is this your free trade agreement pact. Whatever the countries that has this free trade agreement with India is again important. Fine. E-Sanjeevani, a great boon, shows power of digital India, says Modi. So, our Prime Minister through his Man Ki Baat program, he has explained or he has showcased that yes, this particular program, so this Man Ki Baat program, 98th episode of radio address has showcased that this E-Sanjeevani app has ensured medical services to people living in far-flung areas. So, what is this E-Sanjeevani? E-Sanjeevani app is a medical service, e-medical services, where if I am a patient, now I wanted to consult my doctor, no need to go, I don't want to go to doctor if I am in a far-flung place, but still I need an appointment of him. Then I can go through this medical application. So, e-application through which I can consult my doctor virtually and get myself treated. So, this particular E-Sanjeevani is a big success, says Prime Minister Modi, and he says that yes, currently around 10 crore people have consulted through teleconsultations. So, the term used is teleconsultations, which is your medical consultations. So, currently that has happened. So, teleconsultation, talking about the E-Sanjeevani app. This is again a proper outcome of Digital India program, efficiency of the app. So, currently the teleconsultations using this app has crossed 10 crore mark, and the consultations through video conference. So, through video conference If you wanted to talk to your doctor, you can consult, you can ask for your support, especially for the mental illness, especially for problems like where you don't need to go to doctor but yet you need his consultation or her consultation. Definitely eSanjeevani is the best app for that. So he said he congratulated people on this. Okay, fine. So eSanjeevani is something again important to your prelims. Yeah, next. Russia accuses US allies of open blackmail ahead of G20 foreign ministers meet. So what is this article about? Just because I am not going to in depth on this, nothing more matters actually. So here what happens is Russia alleged that US has been openly blackmailing us, threatening us ahead of G20 meeting. So here the central bank for governors meeting and G20 finance ministers in Bengaluru failed to issue a joint communique. Russia praised the role of India's presidency, accused the Western countries of open blackmail. The statement of Moscow's foreign minister has come accusing of sowing enmity and hatred, because in G20 again Russia can be included. So now Western countries are openly blackmailing it that yes. So if you are again continuing this particular war, we will be waging war against you. Already US has given military support to Ukraine directly. So yeah, and it appreciated India's presidency in G20. The statement collective West abandon its destructive as soon as possible. So currently it has given a statement that the collective West abandon its destructive course as soon as possible. So it has hoped that it should not be in a destructive way and it should be in a constructive way of foreign policies. So yeah, it says, and the normal relations with the center, all these things not required. So objective of G20. That is something important. So what is the object of G20? Discussions on, where is this? Yeah, currently here Russians on the other hand indicate that they are not willing to allow any international security or international security to dominate G20, which is considered as a platform to discuss global economy. Whereas the US and UK have taken a stance showing Russians as invading side of Ukraine, whose accusations or whose actions that led to the greater global economic distress. So why Western countries are targeting Russia is that because of this Russia-Ukraine war itself, globally the recession has started, and recently Shaktikant Das, our RBI governor, has speculated that yes, this recession will not be deepening and it would be a softer or smooth slowdown of economy. So it's not going to be impacting much of the global economy. However, US and UK feel that, or they speculate that it is Russia who is the actual reason behind this global financial crisis, whereas Russia speaks that G20 is not a place where you can target upon some other country, but yet it is a place where we will be discussing about the global economy and what could be the possibilities that we can come up with. Okay, so that is about this article. So whatever comes about the G20, again we have to go through it. Important, we have to keep ourselves updated. So yeah, not much important, but yeah, I'll give you a gist. Despite crisis, it's a good time to invest in Sri Lanka, says Colombo-based Indian CEOs. So they're telling that, you know, Sri Lanka is currently under financial crisis, but to attract these investments or to showcase that yes, we are ready to accept your investments, Sri Lanka has told that despite we have this crisis, still our country, if you invest in our country, it would be a positive one for you. But in reality, people are not very sure about the economical crisis that is occurring in Sri Lanka and how detrimental it would be. So this is a statement given by the private stakeholders of Indian CEOs in Colombo, that means in Sri Lanka. Okay, fine. That is why even the elections in this particular area, so in Sri Lanka, has been postponed. So there are two other articles which is important, which I would like to discuss. Before that, this is a small one. Onion exports increased by 16.3% in April-December 2022. So oil exports increased. So inflation in your food. So onion exports increased by 16.3%. 523 in million, so 523 million worth of onions has been exported by India in April-December quarter. From April to December, during this particular quarter, the level of exports has been increased in onion to 16.3%, which is the commodity price, and the Minister Piyush Goyal has informed this, and it has told that onion exports rose by 50% to 52 million. Minister Goyal tweet came following NCP Supra's tweet. So all these tweets not required, but yeah, one thing you need to understand is currently it has been increased by 16.3%. So yeah, the sophisticated anatomy of heat waves. So in the 2 days back or 3 days back session, I have told that La Nina has occurred. That is why we have seen huge winter or cruel winter, you can say. So winter was very harsh in India, in many parts of India. So we have seen cold waves prevalent, where IMD has instructed us, yes, you are going to have a 3-day cold wave or 4-day, 5-day cold wave. Be careful, equip yourself with all these things, whatever you need. But now, whenever La Nina occurs, 50% chances is there for El Nino to occur. So when El Nino occurs, it is exactly opposite cycle of La Nina, where harsh climatic conditions, that is extreme hot weathers, can be experienced in the Indian monsoon. So Indian monsoon will be redirected to the Peruvian coast, causing for the temperatures to rise extremely high in Indian Peninsula region. So all over India, of course, in Indian Peninsula. So currently, we haven't confirmed about the existence of El Nino. Still, we have time to consider or to notice whether El Nino occurred or not. But currently, a thing is that hot waves are currently existing in the country. So, what is a hot wave? Again important, IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, says about this. So, on February 21st, the national capital recorded a third hottest day on February for 36.6 degrees. See, in February itself, 36.6 degrees, which is more than 5 decades. So in February, the temperature recorded is 33.6 degrees, which is more than the 5 decade years. So compared to 50 years, this is the first time this much ever temperature that has been recorded. So according to IMD, a region of a hot wave, so a region can be mentioned as a hot wave, the region which is it, if its ambient temperature deviates at least 4.5 to 6.4 degrees of a long term average. So 4.5 to 6.4 degrees if it is increasing compared to previous average. So average temperature will be recorded, one average temperature will be there compared to that average temperature of a particular locality during that particular time frame. If it is more than 4.5 degrees to 6.4 degrees, then it can be termed as heat wave. So more than that. So now the possibilities of occurrence of El Nino is more. Okay, still not confirmed, but yeah. So yeah, now heat waves are expected to become longer and more intense and more frequent in Indian subcontinent. So if further improve forecast warnings, issue them as much as possible, as soon as possible, couple them with city-wide graded heat action plans to protect the vulnerable. So what they are telling is IMD will give you a proper guidance or what should be the way that you need to protect yourself from precautions. Basically the precautions towards this heat wave will be issued in almost all the cities so that the vulnerable can be protected. So that is about this article. So currently they have elongated or they have prolonged that. So compared to 5 decades, which I have already told. So because of existence of La Nina, now they are expecting this El Nino. So yeah. So what does air mass contribute to heat waves? The other factors apart from this El Nino or La Nina, what are other factors that would affect a particular temperature of a place? Okay. So other factors affect the formulation of heat waves are the age of air mass, how far it has travelled. So air mass will be there. What is air mass? So it will be travelling from one place to another place where it has different temperatures. Okay. So this air mass will be travelling from one place to another. Now the issue is that the north or northwestern heat waves are typically found with air masses that come from 800 to 1000 kilometers away and around 2 days old. So within these 2 days, it will travel from 800 to 1600 kilometers from that far to India, in which from north or northwestern heat waves will be traveling to India and within a span of 2 days. So the heat waves over peninsular India on the other hand, so over the peninsular India, so I have talked here about northwestern part of India, this particular part. So if you can consider, sorry with my bad diagram, but yeah, if you consider this as India, in the northwestern part, it travels around, north and northwestern part, it travels around 800 kilometers or 2600 kilometers, and then it will come to India and cause this extreme weather conditions, heat temperatures. Whereas in the peninsular area, it travels around from the oceans which are closer to 200 to 400 kilometers. From oceans itself, it will travel and barely a day old. So 1 day old, as a result their average becomes less intense. So in some heat waves of sophistical autonomy with important implications for how well you predict them. So whenever you are talking about hot waves, it is not about exactly to identify the hot wave, but also to take the necessary precautions. So here they are telling that predicting the existence of hot wave is something which is again important. So yeah, nonetheless, early warning systems can take advantage of the process, modes of formation, location, age of the air mass, improve the quality of warnings. So what are they giving specifications is that whenever there is early warning systems that can take advantage of location, how it will be formed, what are the modes of formation, then the age of air mass. Suppose the age of air mass is 2 days, then definitely you can expect that it is coming from northwest and it will be extreme. Whereas if the age is one day, then definitely you can expect that it will be less intense in peninsular India. So such type of things can be estimated to identify the impact of hot wave and give early predictions. So that is what they have mentioned. So yeah, this article is quite important. So you can just go through this article once and it will be done. So La Nina and El Nino I have already explained, so I am not going into that part. Fine. Next. So in the previous session I have explained that there is one article which is asking, so there was a PIL, basically the public interest litigation. What they have asked is that why can't we have, so Supreme Court, as a Supreme Court, why can't you decide on whether we can have menstrual leave policy in India? Many other countries like even Spain, Zambia, all these places have accepted to certain extent about this menstrual cycle leave policy. So menstrual leave policy, on this what is the India's take? So someone has laid this PIL in front of Supreme Court. Then Supreme Court has clearly mentioned that you can go and consider the Ministry of Women and Child Development and you can ask them directly, it is not under the ambient of Supreme Court. So they have told that it is a matter of judicial overreach which we cannot involve into. So it is under the hands of Parliament to decide on whether the policy can be created or not. Okay. So this is the path where the existence of judicial restraint is there and not being converted into judicial overreach. So PIL, public interest litigation, it is a birth child of, or currently it has been started in India by Justice B.N. Bhagavati. Okay, fine. D.N. Bhagavati, B.N. Bhagavati, but Bhagavati, yeah. So are the menstrual leave policies implemented globally? That is the question. Why did Supreme Court refuse to hear a petition regarding the menstrual leave for workers and students? Which are the states in India that have accepted this particular menstrual leave policy? States like Kerala, they have accepted this particular menstrual policy leave. So before going the, yeah, see Bihar and Kerala are the ones to introduce this menstrual leave for women. But even in women, people are not favorable to this particular menstrual leave because not necessarily everyone will have the same impact. So yeah, it will be again affecting the efficiency of that particular work. Fine. So on Feb 24, the Supreme Court refused to entertain a PIL about menstrual leave for workers and students across the country, calling it a policy matter. So it is a policy matter, and who should be doing it? Legislature. The Parliament is the one should be deciding point. It's not our Supreme Court. So Supreme Court along with the Parliament is the custodian of Constitution. So it is the separation of power where Parliament should be taking its own decision on this. So that is what Supreme Court told. Not everyone who menstruates is in favor of menstrual leave. Some believe that it is not required and that it will backfire and lead to employer discrimination against women. So certain people, especially in the private sector, for suppose let's consider IT industry, information technology services, especially in MNCs, you can clearly observe that MNCs are favorable to women. So I am not being biased, but yeah, the growing fact is that whenever a person, suppose a boy or a man and a woman are attending a particular interview with the same qualification, same level of expertise, then the priority will be a bit inclined towards women than men currently in MNC. But now because of introduction of such kind of policies, if at all in future if such kind of policies are being introduced into different sectors. Being an employer, being in the position of employer, if I take huge number of female employees, then who will be the loser? As an employer, I will be the loser. So what I will do? I will be converting into male workforce. So I will employ, or I will lenient my decision towards male employees. So that is why certain women are unfavorable to this particular matter. Just a moment. Yeah. So not favorable to this. Fine. Among state governments in India, Bihar and Kerala are the ones which has approved this menstrual leave to women. Important for your GS2 governance. And also social justice where women weaker sections. Okay. Fine. So here certain things are important where there is a survey. First of all, what is this menstrual leave? So you need to know what is this menstrual leave. So menstrual leave, it refers to all the policies that allow employees or students to take time off if they are expressing menstrual pain or discomfort. So in the context of the workplace, it refers to the policies that allow both paid and unpaid leave or time or rest. More than half of those who menstruate experience pain for a couple of days a month, and for some it is debilitating enough to hamper daily activities and productivity. Of course, because of this menstrual activity, definitely it is going to hamper the productivity of the company. So yeah, that is about this article. And there is a survey 2017 which has taken in 2017 of 32,748 women in India, women in the Netherlands, published in the British Medical Journal, found that 14% of them have taken time off from work for school during their period. The researchers estimated that the employees lost around 8.9 working days of productivity every year due to menstrual cycle related issues. Now the thing you need to observe is, how many people have took leave? In among the all women, 14% of the women who has been in the research, 14% of the women have taken this particular menstrual leave. Then what about the rest of people? They are okay with it, they are okay to work. So whenever you are coming up with a particular policy, you need to know how many people are favorable, right, and how many people are actually the vulnerable section here. So yeah, that is about this particular survey. And globally, what is the impact? In Asia, Japan has introduced menstrual leave as part of their labor laws in 1947, and after the idea became popular, labor unions in 1920s. At present, under Article 68, employees cannot ask women who experience difficult periods to work during that time, and Indonesia too. So you need to understand, Japan has introduced, and what is this policy? If they are undergoing difficult pain or unbearable pain, only then they can be opting for this particular leave. And Indonesia too introduced such policy in 1948 during the period of India's post-independence history too. So amended in 2003, which state the worker experiencing menstrual pain are not obliged to work for the first 2 days of cycle. So the first 2 days they no need to opting that particular thing. So opting to work, so they can take leave. Philippines workers are permitted to take again 2 days, and African nation Zambia will be giving a particular leave where the women workers can take any 1 day in the month as a leave, and that particular leave is considered as Mother's Day. So that medical certificate, without any reason they can take a leave, and which is calling it as a Mother Day in Zambia, in South Africa. So this shows the positive aspect that yes, if that all leave is given, 1 day or 2 days is permissible. But yeah, the stake is on government now. So it is at the government hand to understand what can be the possibilities to introduce this particular menstrual policy in India, menstrual leave policy in India. Fine. So that is about the total articles today. Yeah. So far that is it. Rest all we don't have. Yeah, I forgot about this article. Fine. The multi-year cyber attack on GoDaddy. So let me complete this and then we can wind up. Yes. So the multi-year cyber attack on GoDaddy servers and its impact. Important for your GS3, Science and Technology, cyber attack. So GoDaddy is a particular website, so it is the largest domain register, basically a domain, so which uses this WordPress, and currently almost different websites like of e-commerce websites or any kind of e-commerce or any SSL certificates, professional business emails. For hosting all these, this particular GoDaddy can be used as a platform. So this will be basically using WordPress as its backend program. So currently what is the issue? This has been hacked. What happened is unauthorized third party had access to the servers of this GoDaddy website, which will make, suppose if I click on one particular option, it will redirect to some other page, making it vulnerable to phishing. So what is this phishing? So phishing in the sense not phishing fish, but this is phishing. Phishing. Okay. So yeah. See, GoDaddy gained, so some third party have gained access to GoDaddy servers, its cPanel shared its hosting environment, the company shared it in a blog post. So attackers installed a malware on servers causing intermittent redirection of customer websites to malicious sites, leading to increased chances of successful phishing campaigns. So what is this phishing campaigns? Suppose if there is a particular spam mail, there is some attachment or there is some link. If I click on that, then my details of my personal details like my credit card details or my Aadhaar card details, whatever is the unique ID that will be an identity or that will have my money. So main motto of phishing is getting your money. So acquiring your money, transfer of your money. So currently this particular malicious activity was detected in GoDaddy, so where a third party has introduced that malware into their servers, which can lead to the possible successful attempt of phishing. So yeah. Attackers also obtained a piece of code related to some services used by the company. So their coding has been compromised, their particular website is under vulnerable state. So that is about this article. So here you need to know that there has been certain attacks on GoDaddy. Yeah. So cPanel, what is the cPanel? Here I have explained that they have attacked. See, the GoDaddy service is in its cPanel shared in hosting environment. So what is the cPanel? It is an online Linux based graphical interface. So it is a graphical interface used as a control panel to simplify website and server management for website owners and developers. These redirectors could have been used by threat actors to run successful phishing and campaigns. So what is this? This is a main control panel and that is being compromised by some third party, which is actually a vulnerable state for people who are using that particular GoDaddy website. Yes. So that is about this article. So impact and all, you can just go for it, nothing more than that to explain. So as of now, that's it for today's session. Yeah, okay. So if you have any doubts, you can pose me, else we can wind up the session. I hope there is no doubt. Fine. Thank you for the session. Good day.